Lots going on. How have the events of the last few weeks changed your view on this company?
Well, the risk around Elon and the SEC investigation, which is being reported in the news around the go private tweet, is a real concern for us, and we've certainly highlighted that in our research. But we're still looking at very positive fundamentals for this company, especially as Mr. Guillen takes charge of the automotive activities here for Tesla. You know, he's a proven leader. Our checks on him have come back that he's a very stellar leader. He's no BS, and will likely get the job done. But what we're seeing is solid sell-through of the Model 3, which helps the prospect of hitting their gross margin target of 15% for the third quarter. And we think that's the real story here for the Tesla stock. If they're able to hit that number, they should be able to hit their cash flow number, and that will support the stock. And more importantly, will help start supporting the bonds, which have been under a great deal of pressure in the last few weeks.
How much do Musk's extracurricular activities impact your view on the company?
So, you know, he's been a concern for us for a long time in terms of, you know, his distraction with multiple projects. He's proven himself to be a clear visionary in terms of what is possible in particular industries, and certainly a micromanager on certain levels, but it's certainly become a concern that his time would be stretched and that they may need to augment their leadership. We were encouraged to see the announcement this morning, and like I said before, Mr. Guillen's reputation is very solid from our checks.
Now, even though he said Tesla at this point remains a public company, do you think that the uncertainty that he has introduced into this process will impact the relationship with the company and with suppliers and ultimately impact production?
I think it's ultimately probably time for him to adjust his role. The company's maturing, it's reaching a different stage of development, and can have a new level of leadership inside. You know, if we look back at what happened with Apple after Steve Jobs left, you know, at the end, you know, the stock ended up appreciating pretty significantly over the following 3 years. That's something that we would look at, and I think investors are looking for a bit more formality and a more of a traditional management team on this company as it moves forward with executing on its vision.
And how much does what happens with SpaceX, whether it's a successful launch or another investigation, how much does that impact your view on Tesla, or not at all?
It really doesn't. You know, what we're looking at is whether the company's making the cars, whether they're making them economically, and the demand fundamentals. We think the next real benchmark for the Model 3 is going to be whether they can actually sell 500,000 cars a year. We think there's a big debate amongst investors between whether they can push 250,000 cars, which I think there's a consensus they can do, and whether they can reach 500,000 vehicles sold per year on that Model 3. And that's the thing that we'll be looking for over the next 9 to 12 months.